These are potatoes, we're gonna bake them, let's get to it. Hey everybody, my name is Dennis, and over the past 10 years, I've spent thousands of hours researching nutrition and applying it to my from-scratch cooking. Technically, you can bake any variety of potato, but there is a reason that russet potatoes also have the name baking potatoes, because these ones are high in starch, which means that you're gonna get a very fluffy inside with a crispy outside if you do it right. Also, the size of the potato doesn't matter too much, but I am using roughly uniformly sized potatoes. That way they all cook for about the same amount of time and we don't have small potatoes getting overdone or large potatoes being underdone. But our first step before we get to the baking is making sure that the potatoes are clean. So I'm gonna rinse these potatoes just to make sure that there isn't any excess dirt on them. Since they're organic, I don't mind if there's a little bit of soil, but if they were conventional or industrial potatoes, I would definitely want to make sure to scrub them real good to get as much pesticide residue off as possible. This is also the point where I'm going to inspect the potatoes to see if there's any bad spots. I see there's a little surface imperfection on this one, so I'm just going to use a knife to cut that off. And while the potatoes are still very wet, I'm going to rub them all over with salt so that the salt sticks to the potatoes, and place them on a parchment-lined baking sheet. Alternatively, you can put a couple tablespoons of salt and water in a small bowl and roll the potatoes in to coat them. Next, I'm going to stab several holes in each potato with a small knife or a fork, just enough to let the steam out as the potato cooks, otherwise we're going to have exploding potatoes. And place your potatoes into a 400-degree Fahrenheit preheated oven. We'll check back in with our potatoes after about 50 minutes. If they were smaller than my fist though, I would check them in about 40. After the requisite waiting period has expired, check the largest potato for an internal temperature of 200 degrees Fahrenheit. My potato is temping at about 180 and I'm not concerned because I'm going to be putting it back in the oven to crisp up the skin anyway. But not before slathering each potato with a generous amount of bacon fat. You can use a different cooking oil if you want, but come on, it's bacon fat. It's delicious. Just make sure not to use butter here because the high water content of butter will make the potato skins soggy, not crispy. And back in the oven they go for another 5 to 10 minutes. And again, after we've had our second requisite waiting period, we're going to remove them from the oven and cut the potatoes open while they're still very hot. This way, the steam is going to escape from the potato and leave it fluffy. Even if we're going to have leftover potatoes, I still cut them open while they're hot so that they don't get gummy later on. And now it's time for the toppings. We're going to top with a generous amount of butter, additional salt and pepper, cheddar cheese, sour cream, bacon, chives, and paprika. And finally, transfer your potato to a new plate that you think looks better for the camera, but honestly probably doesn't matter and you just wasted dishes. Absent are bacon and chives because I didn't prepare properly for this video. I'm gonna give it a sprinkle of parsley because it looks nice. And now, the moment of truth. Yes, it's delicious. This is probably the perfect potato. Well, if you've gotten value out of this video, make sure you hit the like button and consider subscribing for kitchen tools, nutritious cooking, and healthy living. That's about it.